Hi, Mark, and welcome to the current Outside Views report on Russia's war of aggression against Ukraine. The sky over Kiev was bright blue. It was a sunny and a warm day, and traffic was rolling. Pedestrians were strolling through the city center. Cafes and restaurants were open. That's the everyday life in a city of millions, but it's also a city in a state of war. And German Federal Finance Minister Christian Lindner was standing in the middle of the old town on Michaelsplatz, talking to Ukrainian soldiers and expecting captured Russian tanks there. Not far away, he laid a wreath on the wall of the Michael's monastery. And meters of photos of fallen soldiers can be seen there. And Lindner seemed quite thoughtful. He says, war is not abstract but causes much human suffering. For the first time since the start of the Russian war of aggression against Ukraine almost a year and a half ago, the Liberal Party leader has come to Kiev, the capital of a country that is in a war that is threatening its very existence. Lindner came overnight by train from Poland with a small number of companions. On Monday morning, he, like Chancellor Olaf Scholz and several federal ministers before him, got off at the train station in Kiev and was greeted by the German ambassador Martin Jäger. As far as possible, he wanted to find out what everyday life was like during the terrible war, Lindner said. It's always a different impression when you are there yourself than when you meet in Washington or Brussels or Berlin in meeting rooms. He was in Kiev in 2020 and got the impression that Ukraine was moving west. This is exactly why the country was invaded by Russia. Then comes the message that they wanted to hear in Kiev. Germany will continue to stand shoulder to shoulder with Ukraine, says Lindner. This is about the future of the European order of peace and freedom, he said. Ukraine defends liberal Western values. And for breakfast, he met the mayor of Kiev, Vitaly Klitschko. The delivery of anti-aircraft systems and long-range weapons was also an issue, according to Klitschko. With a view to further arms deliveries, there is currently a debate about possible delivery of German Taurus cruise missiles. Ukraine is putting pressure on the federal government to deliver these to Kiev to strengthen its defenses against Russia. Scholz had been reluctant to comment on this on public television on Sunday. As in the past, the federal government will always check every single decision very carefully, he said. Lindner was a little bit more clear on this in Kiev. After meeting with his Ukrainian counterpart, Finance Minister Serhiy Marchenko, when asked about Taurus, he said the usual procedure would apply. Germany will discuss with its allies what is needed and what is possible. And then he said, since I know that many like myself have sympathy for such support, I hope that these questions will be clarified soon, very soon. To German media, Lindner said on the Taurus question, the prerequisite is the coordination with the allies and the preservation of one's own capabilities for national defense. In addition, Germany must not become a party to the war. If these three criteria are met, then such a decision can be made. My only wish is that we decide that quickly, because in an ongoing war, speed is also an essential factor, Lindner said. And those are clear words. Ukraine must win this war, Lindner says. And that is why also part of their responsibility that Ukraine's staying power is always greater than the evil that emanates from Putin's war. The federal government therefore wants to continue to do everything in its power to strengthen Ukraine's military capabilities. But much has already been done to this end. Ukraine has been repelling a Russian invasion for over 17 months with massive Western aid. Lindner spoke of a total aid from the federal government for Ukraine amounting to 22 billion euros. This also includes billions in aid for the accommodation, food and care of refugees from Ukraine. Military aid amounted to more than 12 billion euros. But the war is not over yet. How much longer will it last? Probably nobody can predict that. And Ukraine appreciates Germany's support very much. That was said again by Marchenko. After talking to the Ukrainian soldiers, Lindner says he was very aware of how important air defense is for the Ukrainians, and he mentioned in passing that he's a major himself in the German Luftwaffe, and yeah, he's a reserve officer. I knew that, like myself, and so he has a thorough understanding of what is going on there and what he's seeing there, and of course also of the discussions on the Taurus missile. So Lindner is somebody who knows what he's talking about there. I'm not very fond of his government that he's part of, but I know that Lindner is a smart guy, and we will definitely, if he says he's supporting something in Ukraine, you can believe him there. If you want to know more about the developments in this war, the next video is right here in the end screen. I'll see you there. I'll be back.